Hello, welcome to the self-learning platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we start Unit 2, Comparative Approaches and Methods, Systems, Structural, Functional and Public Policy. Let us discuss some criticisms of Easton's methodology. Criticisms of Easton's methodology tend to emphasize three areas: conceptual inadequacy, operational difficulties, and ideological orientation. The first one is conceptual inadequacy. Many critics have attacked Easton's work on the grounds of inadequate conceptualization. In his work, there is an excessive preoccupation with persistence and stability in the face of changes and conflict in actual political life. There is too much attention paid to the central orienting conception of the allocation of values and the use of boundary. Thornton argued that the persistence of the system is central not only to Easton's theory but to his exposition as well. Everything brings on the system persisting. Real situations in several European, Asian, and other countries could not be explained by the notion of persistence. Miller, Reading, and Leslie also found fault with his notion of equilibrium and persistence as incapable to changing political real life. William Michel criticized Easton's concept of politics as the allocation of values as leading to misleading assumptions in theorizing politics. It may mean that the political system has a single function of allocation only. Moreover, the policy does not allocate all values of a society. The economy distributes income and resources. The question of power may be obscured by too much attention to the demands of interest groups, while in fact the demands of government and ruling classes upon people may be more important. Easton's preoccupation with boundary was also criticized. It was pointed out that political system cannot be isolated from economic, social, and cultural psychological system. David Singer argued that we must cross back and forth over the mystery boundaries between the and among these systems and must therefore try to cope with several overlapping and elusive systems of action at the same time. It has yet to be done successfully. Evans concluded that Easton's failed to define the political and distinguish it from the non-political, making his notion of the boundary vague. The above problem arose due to Easton's avoidance of the human element. Easton, Almond, and Parson belong to the system of an action school, which ignored both individuals and aggressions of peoples as active participants in politics. The next point is operational difficulties. Eastern conceptual framework has not yet yielded testable hypotheses. His methodology has made an impact on the study of politics, but there has been little empirical consequence for comparative politics. This is because the method is difficult to operate. The problem with his framework is that it is both mechanistic and artistic at the same time, like a machine which is also alive. Despite the vital origins of his thought, Easton used the vocabulary of cause and effect. His framework therefore lacks operational possibilities. Thurston argues that he creates a general theory of politics, which is reduction ad absurdum, and it is an illusion to apply this for the study of any concrete, historically existing political system in the real world. It will be a futile enterprise. Kress spoke of Easton's empty vision of politics in his critical summary of the theory's lack of substance, the artificial nature of system and members. The next point is ideological orientations. Easton's approach has certain ideological orientations. It seems to justify the status quo. It is essentially a static system of analysis. There is no denying the fact that the nature of Easton's methodology makes it relatively easy for it to creep into conservative patterns. A conservative bias is an inbuilt feature of functionalism from which the system's analysis has been adopted in political science. The main object of the systems approach, like other behavioral paradigms, is to validate the assumptions of the dominant ideology of a liberal capitalist society. Eugene Miller says that Easton was concerned with an intellectual crisis and the imminent washing of democratic liberalism. He blamed historicism for the impoverishment of the political theory. In the name of scientific and causal theory, he presented a status quo oriented general theory of political system. For him, value theory lost its importance as he opted for the dogma of empiricism. System analysis assumed stable conditions, cohesion, and equilibrium. Easton refused to take cognizance of political conflict, catastrophic change, class antagonism, and resolution. He himself admitted in 1969. There can be little doubt that political science as an enterprise has failed to anticipate the crises that are upon us. This applied equally to Easton's own work on political science during the previous 2 decades. His methodology had a conservative bias that prevented an exploration of socially relevant issues. Now we wind up this lecture and thank you so much for your attention.